Hey guys, it's TeamNoSkill. I have a new deck profile for you guys today. It is going to be a budget Nubatama Deck Profile. So I'm gonna say the prices too, and so I hope you guys enjoy this. So our starter is Stealth Beast Kurako. So he's a Forerunner, and his skill is when this unit attack hits a Vanguard during the battle that it boosted. If you have a Nubatama Vanguard, Soul Blast 1, choose up to 2 cards from your opponent's bind zone and put them into his or her drop zone. So she provides a lot of pressure, which is really nice, and the Soul Blast 1 to kill 2 cards is really good. On to the triggers. I'm missing 8 crits, and the crits are sort of hard to find for this clan. So 4 crits, 4 draw, 4 stand. So this stand is I actually do like it a lot. I hope you guys can read it. It also has after image, which is really nice. So when your opponent puts a bound card from their bind zone back to their hand, if you have six or less cards in your hand, you could put it back to your hand. So its skill is when it's placed on rearguard, if the number of cards in your hand is less than your opponent, you draw a card or return it into your deck, and then you choose up to one of your other units, and it gets plus 3k power. So I think it's super nice because you place, draw, plus 3 back to the deck. And 4 heals. Boobs. Alright, on to the grade 1s. And all those triggers are like a quarter or 15 cents. 4 Stride Fodders, they're like 50 cents to $1. 4 Stealth Dragon Dreadmaster. Well, I forgot. The Stride Fodder skill, it searches for Shiranui when placement on rearguard, and reveal grade 3 and look for your deck for a Shiranui, then discard a card. And while it's in hand, it gets plus 2 grade for you to discard at a stride cost. 4 Stealth Dragon Dreadmaster all the way from base set 1. So its skill is when this unit attack hits during the battle, this unit boosted. If you have a Nubatama Vanguard, and if you have less cards in your hand than your opponent, counterblast 1, they discard a card. No, what's really nice about it is that it says when it hits. So that means even if it's boosting, let's say you're boosting a grade 2, and it hits rearguard, its effect can still go off, which is super nice. We're running 4 PGs. I don't have the unflippers, like I said, this is budget. Oh no, Ridleys are, I think they're like $1 to $2, since they're all the way from base at 1, so that's really hard to find still. 4 of the new after image PG, it does have after image, which is really nice. So its skill is GB1. When it's doing a boost, if you have a copy of itself in the drop zone, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's bound cards and put it into the drop. And then 2 Living Big Enablers. You're treated at 4 damage even if you're less. So quarters and the PGs are like 50 cents. On to the grade 2s. I am missing the bear, sadly, but I do plan on getting them soon. So this is a new card. Sure Stuff from the Technical Booster. Sure Stuff Dragon. God, that's a long name. Sure Stuff Dragon Marasa Mikango. So his skill is when he's placed onto the rearguard, if you have 2 cards on your Vanguard that say Sure Stealth Dragon, Soul Blast 1, choose a card from your hand and discard it. Look for your deck for a grade 3 card that has Sure Stealth Dragon and add it to your hand. And then your opponent puts a card from their bind zone into the drop zone. And if a card was put, he gets plus 2,000 until end of turn. So it's really nice. And I'll show you guys a really cool thing if you guys didn't know later on when I show you the strides. So we have 4 Stealth Dragon Hashihirbi. So it also has after image, which is nice. It's really nice that after image isn't GB restricted. So his auto is choose a card from your hand and discard it. When this unit is placed on rearguard, if the number of cards in your opponent's bind zone is 1 or more, you may pay the cost. If you do, draw a card. So he's essentially a dump and draw. And then we have just 3 generic 12Ks on the attack Vanguard, GB1, it gets plus 3K. These are all like quarters. The rare, the grade 2 is like 50 cents. On to the grade 3s. This is where maybe it gets a little pricey, but not that much. We have 2 break rights. I do plan on bumping it up to 4. Break rights are like $4 to $5. So its skill is when you're at 4 damage, when a grade 3 right over it, your opponent discards a card and binds a card from his or her hand. And when his unit attacks, if the number of cards in your opponent's hand is 3 or less, he gets plus 2k, but you don't care about that. And then we're running 2 old school Sheriff Stealth Dragon Kabuki Kongo. I personally love this card. I think it's really good for just that. It's a double R. Oh, you can't even read that. I'm sorry. Hopefully you guys can read that. It may be a bit blurry. So its skill is when this unit limit break 4. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, you may pay the cost, which is counterblast 1. If you do, you bind all of your opponent's rear guards face up. And if the number of cards in your opponent's bind zone is 3 or more, this unit gets plus 10k. And then at the end of turn, the bind cards go back to their hand. Same as this, the bind cards go back to their hand at the end phase. So what's really nice about this card is that it says if the number of cards in your opponent's bind zone is 3 or more. So 3 cards don't need to be bound by his own effect. So let's say you broke road and stuff, and then you did other stuff, and your opponent only has 1 rear guard. You can counterblast 1, bind that 1 rear guard. All of you have 3 plus 10k. And his other skill is counterblast 1. He gets plus 2 till end of turn. But you will never use that. And then 4 of the new Legion from the technical booster were not really new anymore. So his skill is basically his skill, but was an additional plus. So he has 2 mates. He has the promo, and then he has this guy who looks exactly like him, and I always get them mixed up. So his skill is when you perform Legion, it's only downside to it. When you perform Legion, you may pay the cost, counterblast 1. If you do, you choose bind all of your opponent's rear guards face up, and then your opponent chooses a card from his or her hand at random and binds it face down. And then at the end of turn, your opponent puts the bound cards back into their hand. And its act skill is Soul Blast 1, and if you have entered a unit in the middle column, this unit gets plus 2k. So that's the deck. I'm going on to the strides now. No, these are all like 50 cents. The break rate's like $4. So yeah, my bad. Like 50 cents to 50 cents to $1. And these are like $2. So not too bad. So we're running 2 from the Fighters, 2 strides from the Fighters collection. I like it a lot. So its skill is when this unit is placed onto the Vanguard, when the unit is placed onto the Vanguard, your opponent chooses 2 of his or her rear guards and then binds the rest. And if 3 were bound by his effect, so let's say your opponent has 2 cards already and you bind an additional one, he won't get the full effect. But if 3 cards were bounded by his own effect, your opponent chooses 2 cards from his or her bind zone and puts them into the drop zone. And at the end of turn, your opponent puts the bind cards back to their hand, like every other bind card. So these are like 50 cents. 1 on hit. I think it's like $1 or $2. It should be no, actually no, it's like 50 cents. Yeah, 50 cents to $1. So it's generic Rikudo Stealth Dragon. Get a Surikan. When it hits, your opponent discards a card. We're running 2 Rikudo Stealth Dragon Jorikan. So this card is really good. Since every grade 3 in the deck has Sheriff Stealth Dragon, it's a 100% neg on the opponent. And the good thing about it too is like, yeah, he can be your first stride. Yes, he is counterblast 2. So his skill is when this unit attacks a Vanguard, counterblast 2, bind one of your opponent's rear guards face up, and then your opponent chooses a card from his or her hand and binds it face down. And if you have a card with Sheriff Stealth Dragon, they go to drop zone at the end of turn. But if you don't have a heart card, they go to their hand at the end turn. So what's really nice about it, like this can snipe out starters, this can snipe out Laurel, this can snipe out anything that's that's going to be a threat later on during the game, which is why I like him so much. He's like $5, used to be 10. I'm just so happy he dropped, because he is a good card. I do plan on bumping this up to 4. Steel Blade Sheriff Stealth Dragon Hayakuri Jirikan. So his skill is Generation Break 2, which is a sad thing. Counterblast 1. If you have a heart card or Sheriff Stealth Dragon, you bind a random card from your opponent's hand at random and bind it face down. And then if they have 3 or less cards in their hand, you bind all their rear guards face up. And at the end of turn, they go back to their hand. So the reason why I like him so much is just I don't care about the second effect. It's the first effect I care about. The first effect is Counterblast 1, bind a random card from your opponent's hand at random. So it's only once per turn, but the reason why I like it so much is because that one card could have been maybe the only PG in your hand if you hit it. And then your opponent's gonna be like, wow, you hit the one card in my hand that would have saved me the game. And it would have saved me from not dying. These are the only reason why I would run them at 4. He's like 50 cents. And I do plan on taking these out. Well, maybe 2. I usually don't go into this because it's actually not that great. So when he hits, you choose a card from your opponent's hand at random and bind it face down. And if you have 3 or more regards with the after image ability, your opponent chooses a card from his or her bind zone and puts him into the drop zone. But at the end of turn, the bind card goes back to his hand. So basically, if you have 3 cards with the after image, this hits, the card that gets bound automatically goes to drop zone. And then we're running, these are like 50 cents. 50 cents to a quarter. And we're running 4 G Guardians, Jinx, Stealth Hermit, Abatachi. So when this unit is placed on guard circles, if the number of cards in your opponent's hand is 6 or less, this unit gets plus 5k. Plus 5,000 power. Same thing, hold them. And he's like 50 cents. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Let me know what you guys think. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, I forgot to show you something. So, alright. So both of these cards have share Stealth Dragon in the name. So you're gonna stride. You can get his seal off when you stride, because it says if there's 2 cards on your Vanguard that have share Stealth Dragon. So yes, he copies the name, but he also keeps his regular name. So on stride, you're gonna get his name and you're gonna get his name. So that counts as 2. So let's say you have a break right under that, and you go into this. You can call this Soul Blast 1, discard a card, look for a card or the break ride or basically any 3 because everything has share Stealth Dragon, and add it to your hand. And then put one of their bound cards into the drop zone. So it's a really good combo. Counterblast 1, bind the card, call this, Soul Blast 1, get any 3 you want, and get rid of the bound card so you can completely neg them. And then he gets plus 2k. So I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile, and let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And remember to rate, comment, like, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.